Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here for Popternative, speaking to Corinne Massiah about 911 on Fox. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. This is awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it is exciting. I mean, so 911 aired on Fox in 2018.
Yes.
So it's craziness, right? That it's been on air for like 4 years.
Yes. Exactly.
Do you remember the day it was announced and the day you were kind of cast for this? Like, it's pretty crazy. We're going a little way back now, right?
Yes, it was actually a crazy experience. So I was just getting started in high school. It was a self-tape audition, so it was at home. I didn't even have to go in. So I was like, oh, I'll just do this. This is easy. And then a couple weeks passed by, and then I get a call, hey, you booked the show 911. And I'm like, oh, I booked it. Like, I totally forgot about it. And then it's also with Angela Bassett and Peter Krause. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I had no idea the gravity of what I just booked. So it was pretty cool, honestly. And like, now it's just been an amazing experience.
The growth of the character is amazing. Is it something you think about when you're going season by season? Because obviously the hope is more screen time, more storylines, but the growth for your character has just been unbelievable. Can you talk a little bit about that?
100%. So the first and second season, you could tell like, oh, we were just a family, like my brother and I were some filler characters, some dinner scenes and everything. But by the third season, after the tsunami episode, I think the writers saw something in me and they're like, hey, this girl can act, like, not to like toot my own horn or anything. But I think that's what started getting the ball rolling as to like May's character development and like her becoming a more prominent character in the show, which I'm very thankful for. But it's been really cool because I've been able to grow with her as well, because we're pretty much the same age and we were going through the same things at the same time. So a lot of it was really uncanny because it's like, it was so easy to do because I was experiencing a lot of things she was experiencing at the same time.
It's interesting too, when you look at, a show like this, that there's so much kind of going on because it's people that work in emergencies and, dispatch and everything. So there's that. But the relationships, the drama between like the characters, like, have you thought about that a little bit, where it's like a tale of two shows, where it's like, yeah, the 911 emergencies, but then it's like, all right, and then there's drama with her mom and all this.
Oh, for sure. And I think that's what people love the most about it.
Yep.
It's not 100% emergencies 24/7. We get to go into the personal lives of these heroes, basically. And I think that's what America loves the most. And I think that's what also makes it so fun to be in, because, it's not always, saving people out of a burning building or anything. Like, you get to also act in it, which is really fun.
Oh, absolutely. Corinne Massiah is a storyteller. That's what you do, basically. You know what I mean? Like,
thank you. Yes.
That's what it is, basically.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying thank you when I say that in my interviews. It's like, that's what it is. Like what do you do for a
Right,
what excites you about storytelling specifically, if you can name something?
Because it lets you put on different hats and play different people. Maybe it's not necessarily you, but like, what I've always wanted to be, a mean person. I'm not going to cuss. I've always wanted to be a mean person, and I can be a mean person through this character, not myself personally. So you just get to explore different avenues as yourself.
Yeah.
But also as another character, which I think is cool.
I think it's pretty cool as well. I mean, imagine if like a 6-year-old came up to you at a birthday party and basically asked you what you do for a living, and you're literally like, right. I play pretend.
Really? I play different people, exactly.
Someone said that a while ago when we were talking about like, how do you describe acting, and he brought up that story about like a birthday party and a kid.
Explaining it to a 6-year-old. That's how I would explain it. Yeah.
Which is so great. The 911 fans are amazing. I mean, I don't feel like we have to spell that out. I feel like it's kind of, you look on social media, like the Facebook groups and the Reddit and the Twitter, it's just crazy.
And
it's wild, right?
It is. These are some diehard fans.
When do you notice that though? Like right away? Like more with season 3? Like when do you start noticing that a little bit?
I personally,
Yeah.
I started noticing it the 4th season when May was in the call center. I was like,
because I definitely saw a spot. Like season 3 was a big season for 911.
100%.
Yeah, like I definitely feel like no, like people were watching it for season 1 and 2, but I feel like word of mouth caught up and it was just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. But for May personally, I started noticing it when I was in the call center with Jennifer Love. And I'm like, wait, like people like my storyline, you know, because the first couple seasons I was kind of, you know, background. But I'm like, these people like May and these people like me and they want to follow me and they want to see what I'm doing day to day. And it was a cool experience. It was a little overwhelming at first, but it was really cool.
We're, you know, working at a call center. I feel, you know what? You might get this question a lot or maybe not. I'm wondering how many times you actually get this question. Did you do any research? Like, did you go to a call center and like check it out at all? Or like, was there any of that? I'm curious about that.
I've actually never gotten that question.
Yes.
Yeah, I've never gotten that question.
Exclusive.
And actually, I didn't because I wasn't really given a heads up, like in advance that, oh, May's in the call center now.
Yeah.
I just had like a week or two to process it. And it was also during COVID, so everything was really weird too. Everything was like shut down and everything. But I feel like if I had the opportunity, I 100% would have gone first. But everything just happened so fast and I just kind of had to dive into it.
I always think about that though. You look at all these medical dramas too, and like I'm wondering, I mean, these are a lot of them. And I've interviewed people from like Grey's Anatomy and they all say like, you know, it is over the top. It's not like it's a dramatization in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? But I always think about that research component. If there's like, if you get cast for something like that, if you're gonna go like shadow like a nurse or a doctor, like I always think about that for some reason.
Right, but a lot of our writers are former dispatchers,
which is amazing, right?
So. Yeah, she'll be like, okay, well, you press this button to change lines or something. So I did get a little bit of it because they're like, okay, well, 20 years ago I did this, you did this, you did this. And a lot of the time there's a lot of medical professionals on set as well saying, you would say normal sinus rhythm or things like that. So we definitely do get the outside looking, like the outside perspectives of it. It's not just us and the writers like always making it super dramatic. Like we want to make it as true as possible.
Oh, 100%. I totally see that. So we've established that, you know, May's storyline and growth as a character has elevated season after season. So I'm just curious now what your mindset is when it's decided that she's going to be dispatched to the call center and have those storylines. Like, do you kind of just not really think much of it? And you're just kind of going with the flow. You're excited. Like, what's going on? Are you in the zone? Like, I'm just curious about that mindset a little bit.
Like my process?
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. So I'm a very go with the flow person, but I was definitely intimidated. It was a really like big jump if you really think about it from what I was doing before and now like being in the call center. So I did have to, you know, mentally prepare myself. You know, I watched, you know, Love doing her dispatching, you know, former episodes of her. And I'm like, okay, I had to get, you know, the kind of the feel for it.
Yep.
But it was really easy. I don't want to say easy, but for lack of a better word, it was easy for me to kind of like ease into it and like find my bearings.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And then everyone around me was also supportive. Like, oh, I would say it this way, or you just be more calm when you're talking to them, even though it's a really high stress situation. So I think I'm honing in on how May is as a dispatcher, but, you know, there's always room to learn.
It's not your first Fox project.
No, it's not.
You were on a show that I loved. You know what I'm going to say?
I do.
But it only got one season. And I was very upset. I'm a sports fan, right? So I loved Pitch. I thought it was a great show.
Oh my gosh. I loved it too.
I know. I mean... Is it cool, though, that you were able right now to, like, you look at that role, like baseball, and then you look at this role, 911? I mean, those are two, like, completely different roles and different ends scenarios. Exactly. And that's pretty cool that you're able to do that so far.
I agree. I was very fortunate. And it hurt my heart, definitely, when Pitch wasn't picked up.
There was social media. There's a lot of things about the business and everything. And, there's podcasts about it. I'm realizing there's like podcasts about like people dissecting like how shows get renewed and canceled. And I'm just kind of like
crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even understand the process fully still. Like, it's crazy.
So this is just more of kind of like a fun kind of conversation, not controversial. But I will say like with me, being into sports my whole life, a lot of people I followed loved that show, and there was a big like outcry of like, what the hell, you know what I mean? So I guess we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you did a really good job in that show. You were great in that show.
Thank you. It was so fun. Genuinely so fun to do that show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Kylie Bunbury, she was an angel, and Michael Beach. It was the whole cast, the crew, the story. It was the perfect package.
Is it cool that we like two different spectrums? I like the way you said that. Characters are a little bit different as well, which is a big thing as well, right? So I love that you can have an opportunity where you're working on a project that's completely different, but your character in that project could be similar. Like, I feel like that's a really cool thing, right?
Exactly.
Which I think is awesome. Yeah, so did you notice that a little bit? Your characters are pretty different in those ones specifically.
Their scenarios were really different.
Yeah.
But the way they thought were very similar. Mm-hmm. They're both, I think they're both trying to find themselves still.
Yep.
Do they like where they're at in their lives? They're young women. Like, I was obviously younger in Pitch.
Yeah.
But acting them is very similar because they're both very driven in what they want to do. They're both very opinionated. Mm-hmm. And so, that aspect was pretty easy. Like, they were both very similar.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it blows my mind too to see the growth of characters like episode to episode. Like, that was one of my favorite things about Pitch. Like, you'd watch one episode of Pitch and then characters like grew after one episode. I know, it was wild. Yeah. And I think it's the same thing with that too. So with 911, where do you notice sometimes that the growth of characters is like episode to episode? Because we don't really know the time, like the time span sometimes, right? Like, it was funny, like a show like 24 where it's like 24 hours. A show like this, maybe it's like day by day, week by week. I always found that really interesting too.
Oh, me too. Yeah. And like, I would read scripts, and I'm like, one day May's, second guessing something, and the next day she's actually doing it. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
a lot's going on. Like, we just jumped, but I think that's what's so much fun about it.
Yeah.
It's just like, even as an actor, you're always, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? It keeps you on your toes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there an ideal Corinne Massiah project that you want to kind of work on? Because obviously you go where the opportunities go, but like, there's got to be like the kind of wheelhouse project a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I love Marvel. I would love a movie like that.
And it's cool. I want to do
a movie next.
Marvel, and when I'm born in the 90s, when I would wear like a Spider-Man shirt, I would get made fun of. If I wear a Spider-Man shirt now, I'm like the most popular kid in school.
You're praised, yeah.
It's like, where did you get that shirt?
Exactly.
It goes from nice shirt to like nice shirts.
Nice shirt.
Exactly. It's weird though, kind of, how popular it is. Yeah, it's weird.
With the new generation, things change. It can be weird in 20 years from now, but But it's
strange. Like, for me too, who's like really into it growing up, and it being kind of like
you liked it before it was cool. I think that's awesome.
Exactly. And now it's just like the biggest movies on the planet by like a landslide.
Yeah, 100. Yeah.
Or like the geek culture, comic book culture. No, it's a crazy world and everything. Corinne, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. This was so fun chatting with you.
This was super fun. Thank you.
Yeah. So 911 on Fox, they can check that out.
911 on Fox.
Plug away. Like, they can follow you on social media. Can you plug away quickly? 911 on Fox. They can follow you on Instagram, right?
Perfect. Yeah, my Instagram is just Corinne.Massiah. Follow 911 on Fox. We're back March 21st. Tune in. Season 5B, expect the unexpected. It's going to be crazy.
Ooh, it's like a hashtag. That'd be too long of a hashtag, right? Hashtag expect the unexpected. I mean, I feel like you could rock it. I feel like that could be.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think
You got to
so.
tweet that then. You should tweet that or put that on Instagram and see what happens. And see if Fox are like, can we use that?
Can we use this?
Absolutely. This has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Look out for Corinne Massiah in the new season of 911 on Fox. Coming very soon. Until next time, it's Corinne and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.